Welcome to Next Gen Parenting. Today, we're jumping right into an explainer on something that can completely shape your child's future relationship with money. Pocket money. We aren't just talking about handing over loose change here. We're diving into practical, evidence-based child psychology to build your ultimate parenting toolkit. So what if I told you that giving your child just $5 a week could teach them more about real-world money management than literally years of traditional classroom education? Sounds like a stretch, right? But the research absolutely backs it up. Most parents kind of accidentally fall into some really common traps, starting way too late, giving too much, or rescuing kids from their own bad choices. In this explainer, we're going to fix all of that.
Okay, let's dive into this with Pillar 1, Beyond Just Spending.
A lot of us grew up thinking an allowance was just, a free pass to buy snacks or whatever new toy was trending. But when you use it correctly, pocket money is this highly controlled environment for teaching. The goal isn't just to give your kid money. The absolute main goal is to teach money management. Every single time they hold that cash, they're learning that resources are limited. If we just randomly buy things for our kids whenever they ask, they literally never learn the crucial skill of prioritization. We've got to let them make those choices themselves.
Moving right along to Pillar 2, Age and Amount Guidelines. So the most common question I get is, what's the absolute perfect age to start handing over cash? Well, while there isn't one magic number for every single kid, experts generally agree that ages 5 to 7 is the ideal sweet spot. But hey, instead of getting hung up on their exact birthday, just look for these 3 signs of readiness. First, they actually understand that money buys things. It doesn't just magically pop out of thin air. Second, they can count to at least 10, giving them that basic number sense. And third, they actively start asking to buy stuff. That desire right there, that's the engine for the whole lesson. Data from the UK brilliantly illustrates exactly what we're talking about, showing how average pocket money naturally scales up with age. A 6 to 8-year-old is getting around £3 a week, scaling up to around £8 for older teens. But listen, here is a major trap. Honestly, common mistake number 1, giving too much. If the amount you give is so generous that they can just buy whatever they want, the urgency of making a smart choice completely vanishes. They need to feel that resources are limited. So where should you start? A super common and incredibly effective rule of thumb is the $1 per year of age per week rule, meaning a 6-year-old gets $6 a week. Simple as that. You really want to start with a modest amount. Why? Because a little bit of healthy financial pressure is exactly what makes these lessons stick. Trust me, a child learning to budget with $3 a week is absorbing the exact same life lessons as a kid learning with 10. Which brings us to Pillar 3, the operating system. Okay, so now they have the money. What do they actually do with it? Without a system, pocket money just leads to unstructured, impulsive spending. This is where we bring in the highly effective 3-jar method. When allowance day rolls around, don't just hand over the cash and walk away. Make it a fun ritual. They physically divide the money into 3 categories. Save for future larger goals, spend for those small, immediate dopamine hits like candy or cheap toys, and give for helping others or a charitable cause. This incredibly simple visual system teaches financial balance and empathy right from the start. Next up is Pillar 4, the Great Chore Debate. This is a massive dilemma for a lot of parents. Should pocket money be earned through household chores or just given unconditionally? Let's look at both sides neutrally. Tying allowance to chores definitely teaches the fundamental truth that money comes from hard work and effort. But financial advisors hear these hilarious yet super frustrating stories all the time of a kid telling their parents, "You know what? I don't really need pocket money this week, so I'm not doing the dishes." On the flip side, the untied model keeps the financial lesson completely clean, meaning doing your part around the house is just an expected part of being in a family, not a transactional service you get paid for. So, what's the middle ground? The balanced solution that tons of families find massive success with is the hybrid approach. Here's how it works. You provide a basic, unconditional allowance so they get that steady, reliable practice managing money every single week. Basic family responsibilities are still expected for free, but you also offer bonus earning opportunities. If they want to wash the car or organize the garage, they can earn extra rewards. It's really the best of both worlds. Now, let's talk about Pillar 5, the crucible of learning. All right, this is where things get emotionally tough for us as adults, because it involves the psychology of delayed gratification and, honestly, just watching our kids fail. When your child takes their spend jar money and blows it on some terrible cheap toy that breaks in 10 minutes, it is agonizing. You are absolutely going to want to step in and stop them. Don't. As one source brilliantly put it, the cheap toy that breaks in a day is not a failure. It is the curriculum.
Small losses are such vital learning experiences. The regret they feel when that toy shatters, that's a lesson no parental lecture could ever replicate. And for those larger purchases, we really need to teach delayed gratification. A certified financial planner who works with ADHD Insights recommends what they call the waiting rule. Say your child wants a toy. Make them wait 1 week for every $10 the item costs. This is an incredibly effective strategy for teaching self-control, especially for kids who naturally seek immediate gratification. It explicitly teaches them that expensive things require patience.
So the crucial point here is avoiding common mistake number 2, rescuing them. Let's say they spend all their money on Wednesday and then casually ask for an advance on Saturday's allowance. You absolutely must say no. You can be super empathetic about it, but you have to hold that boundary. The discomfort of having to wait is exactly what makes saving feel worthwhile the next time around. If you rescue them, you literally erase the entire learning opportunity. The wait is the lesson.
To put into perspective why this early practice is so vital, just consider typical university student spending habits. When young adults finally step out into the world with their own funds, a massive chunk, over 69% combined, goes straight to entertainment, outings, food, and drinks. Studies show that without proper early financial socialization, young adults often spend impulsively and completely fail to budget systematically. The stakes are simply way too high to let them figure this out for the first time in their 20s. Which brings us to our final section, Pillar 6, Raising Responsible Adults. We really need to connect these seemingly small childhood routines to lifelong financial literacy. At the end of the day, pocket money isn't about creating rich children, it's about creating financially responsible adults. Think about it. One day, your child is going to have to manage a full salary, balance multiple bank accounts, and set long-term investing goals. Their future financial independence literally traces all the way back to that tiny pile of coins they sorted into jars on your kitchen table. Financial literacy doesn't begin when they get their first job, it begins at home, right now. Start small, stay consistent. Let them make those low-stakes mistakes today so they don't make devastating high-stakes mistakes tomorrow. Now, I want to leave you with a quick question to think about. At what age did you start receiving pocket money, and do you currently give an allowance to your own kids? How did your childhood shape your relationship with finances today? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, keep guiding,